Hey guys, Sean P here, and today we're going to be talking about downsizing. Specifically, I'm going to share the top 5 things I see people doing that cost them time or money when it comes to downsizing into a smaller property. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Sean Provencher. I've been in real estate for close to 20 years, and if this channel brings you value, I'd love if you could like or subscribe. And if you want to reach out and ask me some questions about your real estate plans, I'd love to support you. You can use the link in the description to get in touch with me. Okay, so let's talk about downsizing. Downsizing is something that typically happens towards the latter half of someone's homeownership journey. It's something that they will typically work through larger and larger homes as they have a growing family, and then at a certain point, the property that they're in is either larger than they need or it becomes too much to maintain. I've helped people through this so many times, and I see the same challenges coming up over and over again. So today, we're going to do a deep dive on some of the things that I see people running into that I want to help you avoid. Number 5, the 5th biggest mistake that people make when downsizing is not planning to pack their most important personal items in advance and separating them from the rest of the things that are involved in the move. During the move, there's a whole bunch of stuff that's gonna get reorganized and shuffled around, and little things that are really important to you can get lost or misplaced permanently. So what I recommend doing is separating these things from the rest of all the stuff that you're moving around, especially before you start going through everything else that you might have in your possession. So when I say this, there's really 2 main categories that I recommend you paying special attention to. The first one is legal documents. So this could be a will, it could be a life insurance policy, it could be the survey of the land that your home sits on. These little things can be really hard to get back, and even if you get them back, it could just be stressful and frustrating, and it's going to take a lot of your time. So as you're going through, make sure that all of these documents get put in a safe place, and you can either pass them to someone who will hold them for you or make sure that you keep them separate from the rest of all your boxes. The second category that I recommend paying special attention to is items of sentimental value. So this could be family photos. This is a really common one that people mix up on, and they might end up losing a few boxes of family photos. It could also be just some personal things that are really important to you. Take the time to put this aside, pack it safely, and keep it, again, separate from the rest of the stuff while you're shuffling everything around in your home and trying to decide what to get rid of, because you don't want to lose any of it. Number 4 is thinking that you have to do it all alone. Here's the thing. When you are going through the process of downsizing into a smaller space, there are so many things you have to do. There's a lot of planning, there's physical work like organizing, and then there's also just a ton of decisions that you're going to need to make along the way, and it often becomes overwhelming for people. And that might either lead to a delay, some extra stress, or you just feeling locked up and not moving forward at all. So here's the deal. You don't have to do this all alone. There's a ton of support and help out there. And you could either partition all of it out to just having someone guide you through the process, or you could bring people in for certain parts of it that you just don't want to or maybe aren't able to do on your own. So for example, physical work. You could have someone come in and just help you move stuff around and pack. You could also have someone who comes in and manages a project for you. So if you don't mind sorting all of your stuff out and organizing it, you could have someone come in afterwards and manage the sale of the stuff that you don't want anymore. Like, for example, you could have an online auction service come in and sell all your old stuff. And then finally, if you really just want to be a little bit more hands-off through the whole thing, you could bring in a professional downsizer who will actually guide you through the entire process and manage the sale and take care of all the moving. The point is, you don't have to do it all alone, and if you have help, it's going to let you focus your energy on the most important decisions, which is really where you should be, and it'll help you stay in a place where you're really just moving towards the better outcome and focused on what this is going to do for you, which is really where you should be anyways, because getting caught up in the weeds isn't going to serve you well. Number 3, moving things that you won't have space for in your next home. This one sounds so obvious, and yet it's hard to choose what stays and what's going to go. So one of the things that I really encourage you to do is be as purposeful as you can as to what you want to bring into your next home. So if you already know where you're going, you can map out the floor plan of your next property and actually put some thought into what will go where. However, a lot of the time people don't know where they're going to go next, and this can be a lot trickier. Here's the reality. You should take less than you want to take. you're going to be tempted to take all kinds of stuff, and ultimately it's not going to serve you well, because a big part of downsizing is also wanting to lead a simpler life. So if you're moving into a smaller space, give yourself permission to get rid of some of the stuff that you might really care about but don't really need. And on the other side, you'll always have the option to rearrange things or bring in 1 or 2 extra pieces to accommodate something that you might feel is a gap once you get in there. Trust me, less is more in this instance. Second biggest mistake is not building a team. And specifically when I say this, I mean a team of people who are going to guide you on the legal side. So I like to think of this as a triangle of trust. You've got your accountant, you've got your lawyer, and you've got your realtor. All of us are going to work together to make sure that this goes in as smooth and predictable of a fashion as possible. Here's the thing. Most people wait way too long to involve these people in their plans. The earlier that you start these conversations, the more value these professionals are going to be able to bring to the structure that they put around you while you go through all of this. Most people, for example, with a real estate agent like me, will wait until they are ready to put a for sale sign in their lawn. But the clients who I'm able to give the best service to are people who engage with me often as much as 6 to 12 months in advance, because I can help them prepare and I can help them build out the rest of the team around them if they don't already have people in place. When it comes to the legal side, there might be structures you could use to better pass on some of your estate to the people who you want to share it with if you know in advance. When it comes to the financial side, they might be able to help you avoid taxes. There's lots of little details that go into this, and there's professionals who have built entire careers around advising people on this. So let us help, and let us help as early on as we can, so that we don't leave anything unturned when it comes to making this as good as it can be for you. Okay, top 5 biggest mistakes people make when downsizing. The number 1 biggest mistake is one that I've seen again and again throughout my career. And unfortunately, this is one that's so easy to plan around if you're just a little bit open-minded, okay? The number 1 biggest mistake people make when downsizing is they wait too long. Here's the deal. Ideally, you'll remain in the driver's seat of your circumstance as long as possible. And yet, I hear people all the time say that they want to stay in their home until they can't manage it any longer. Here's the deal. If you can't manage the upkeep of your current home, chances are you're not going to be able to, or at the very least, you're not going to enjoy managing the process of downsizing all your stuff and moving. You're going to feel overwhelmed. It could burn you out, or even worse, you might get hurt. So the biggest mistake I see people making is that they wait too long. They end up getting trapped in their home, and it might not be a very nice living circumstance. So my recommendation is to be open-minded to the idea that there's another place that you could call home that would be a place that would suit you to the extent you could stay there longer than if you stay in the home that you're in now. So that might be a smaller space that you'd still manage on your own, or it might be a space that comes with some support, either a condo or an assisted living facility. There are some great options out there, and if you're open-minded, it's going to keep you in the driver's seat longer. So go check them out, talk to someone, maybe visit a few places, and just start to explore what's next for you. You might find that you get a little bit excited about it. Okay, so those are the 5 biggest mistakes that people make when downsizing. And hopefully, if you're planning a downsize, you're trying to do better than just avoiding mistakes. Maybe you're even trying to make a plan that's going to make this whole thing run smoothly and easily. So I'd encourage you to start early and take yourself out of the danger zone of avoiding mistakes and put yourself into a really good position where you've had everything well thought out in advance. Connect with some of the people that we talked about in this series. So we talked a little bit about people who could help you throughout the downsizing process. It could be as simple as a mover, or maybe a professional who comes and takes the whole thing off your hands. Connect with the triangle of trust, your lawyer, your accountant, and your realtor. The sooner that you start conversations with them, the better we'll be able to bring you value throughout the process and make sure that the structure you're setting up is the most efficient and safe way that you can go through all of this. And then finally, be open-minded. If you're trying to think of what that next property looks like, or you're trying to figure out what you should put yourself into in terms of position, well, maybe go look at a couple things. I'd love to show you a couple properties if you're interested in figuring out what the other side looks like. Chances are, once you start, you'll actually start to feel a little bit excited about it. So if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to connect with me to go through next steps or even just to brainstorm, I'd love to chat. You can use the link in the description to book time to have a quick call with me. Thanks for watching.